I'm Crafty Kate and I run a small crochet business. On this channel we talk all things yarn and crochet. Today is a fun video that I have been planning for a long time. I'm going to do a little Q&A with questions from you guys. I asked on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Patreon. So I have quite a few questions written down that I will answer for you. Before we get started, I did want to go over a couple of updates. I forgot to mention in last week's video that my pronghorn antelope pattern has been released. So you can find that on my Etsy or my website. So this little guy is done with testing and out in the world. I'm so excited for him. So fun. His body is worked all in one piece, and then the head and the ears are one piece. You crochet the ears in as you go, and then you sew the horns on. The horns are one piece, like you make this piece and then crochet it together with that piece, and then you sew the tail on, and then you sew the head on the body. So not too much sewing, and I just love the way the little body turned out. So cute. So definitely go check that out if you are interested. And then I also recently tried out a new pattern that I had never done before, and I'm going to keep this guy for myself. I'm going to put him in my truck, so you will get updates about him, hopefully occasionally. So this is Reggi the frog from Vasque Boutique. I love the pattern. It is no sew and it works up so cool. I'm not sure about his little eyebrows. I might remove those. I haven't decided yet. And I am planning on making another one of these. So we'll see how that goes. But he turned out so cute. Purple's my favorite color. So that's Reggi. He's going to go in my truck. Okay, so before we jump into the question part of the video, I want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Bob and Brad. Bob and Brad are well-known physical therapists, and they sent me their newest massager that I am so excited about. So I actually got this one last week, and I have been using it for several days to really test it out, to tell you guys how I like it. I get really bad knots around my shoulder blades, so this thing has really been helping me work those out. I actually get tension headaches and then migraines from those knots, so I'm super excited about this thing, and I have been trying it out and loving it. So I will have this linked down in the description for you to get from Amazon, along with a 10% off code that you can use with your order. Unlike others, this one gets plugged in, so it has full power, unwavering deep tissue massage that never fades like battery models. It has 4D professional kneading that mimics a therapist's hands with realistic kneading and stretching action for true relief of sore muscles. It's ergonomic and targeted with a wide-angle 15-degree forward tilt that can hit your knots, like the upper traps, perfectly every time. And it is whisper quiet, below 40 decibels, so you can enjoy powerful relief without disturbing others, whether you're working or relaxing. It has this awesome remote, so you don't have to mess with trying to hit buttons behind you. And it also has a heat setting to help relax your muscles as it massages. And you can put it anywhere, really. Your lower back, your middle back, upper back, your neck. You can use it on your legs or your abdomen. And it also has these awesome clips. So if you have a tall chair, like a desk chair or a gaming chair, you can clip it around the top so it stays in place so you don't have to hold it up with your body. And it also, the way it massages depends on how hard you push against it, so you can make it massage harder or with less pressure. So like I said, I have been loving this thing. It even has a little pocket for the remote. And I have a gaming chair, which you saw in the video, that I keep out by my boyfriend's desk. And I have been using this every night while I sit and watch him game for a little while. So absolutely love this thing. Go check out the link in the description if you are interested. And thank you again, Bob and Brad, for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so now we'll jump into the question part of the video. I have everything written down over here on my computer, so I'll be looking at that. And then I will also try to fill in some extra details, things obviously that you guys wouldn't know to ask about me. So I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but also give you some fun details. I thought about trying to crochet something while I sit here and answer questions for you guys, but I am not great at multitasking. So if I were trying to read, think of an answer, try to talk to the camera, and crochet at the same time, I think that would be an absolute disaster. I thought about making another one of these little guys, but since I've only made this pattern once, it would probably be a little bit complicated and I wouldn't get very far. So I'm just going to sit here and answer the questions as quickly and on task as I can. So the very first question is, when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up? So I wanted to be either a vet or a marine biologist, which I'm from Wyoming, so landlocked state, definitely difficult to get marine biologist experience. I found out rather quickly. So I went to school to be a vet. About halfway through, decided that I didn't want to go to vet school, so kind of changed gears. So I ended up with a degree in animal science. And then during college, I did 3 different internships doing wildlife rehabilitation. So I lived all over the country for these 3 different internships. I did 6 months in Texas, I did 6 months in Maine, and I did 4 months in Miami, Florida. So I got different experience with wildlife all over the country. And if you've never heard of wildlife rehabilitation, it's basically people bring in injured or orphaned wildlife and you nurse it back to health and then try to release it. So we did a lot of baby animals, injured adult animals, any animal you can think of pretty much. So that was really fun. And then I had a hard time getting a job in that field when I was ready for an actual job after the internships. So I had a friend in Tennessee that was working at the elephant sanctuary. You can look that up if you've never heard of it, but it is a retirement home for elephants. And I worked there for 7 years as an elephant caregiver. So an elephant trainer, basically an elephant zookeeper. It's not a zoo, obviously it's a sanctuary, but same job sort of thing. So I did that for 7 years. And as you can imagine, animal care is very demanding on your mental and physical health. So I kind of realized that I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. And I also ended up moving to a different part of Tennessee. So quit that job and started a different one. I worked at a horse sanctuary for a little while I was still in Tennessee, and that was a retirement home for draft horses, so like Clydesdales, Percherons, all the really big horses. So that was super fun. So I think at the end of this video I'll put in a couple pictures of my different things that I've done, my jobs and stuff over the years. So then my boyfriend and I decided to move back to Wyoming to be close to my family. So we did that, and it's a little bit harder to find animal care jobs in Wyoming, especially with exotic animals or really anything of that nature. So I kind of bounced around with some different random jobs and quickly discovered that I didn't want to do those random jobs. So that's when I really took on Crafty Kate and decided to go full-time. So I quit my job here in Wyoming and went full-time in, I think, the end of 2024. So I've been full-time over a year now, a full year. So, and it's going well. So here we are. And then the next question is, do you do any other fiber arts? And the answer is yes. So I learned to crochet when I was 10 or 12 from my mom. And then when I was pretty young, my grandma taught me how to knit. So I've knitted off and on for years. And then I also quilt. So my mom got me a sewing machine for Christmas many, many years ago, and I've made several really fun, gorgeous quilts. And I actually have a quilt that I'm supposed to be making soon for my sister out of my nephew's baby clothes. So we have all the squares cut for that. So I will be making that at some point. I'll maybe squeeze it into a video if you guys would be interested in seeing that. But I do love knitting. My mom loves knitted dish rags. So every year for Christmas, I used to make her a knitted dish rag. And then I've also done like scarves and fun like cabling and stuff like that. I wouldn't say I'm really, really good at it, and I haven't done it in a long time, but it was something I have enjoyed and would like to get back into. I do know that I hold the yarn in a weird way, so I end up like having to do this a lot. So I need to reteach myself to hold the yarn different when I do start knitting again. So that will be interesting. And again, I'll try to put some pictures of things I've made maybe at the end of this. I don't know if I can find any pictures of the quilts, but I'll try to include those at the end. Okay, so the next question is, do you have another job or just crocheting? And I already kind of answered that. So in 2024, I quit my random job that I had here in Wyoming and started doing the crochet business full-time. So this is my full-time job. I don't have any other side job or anything like that. Okay, the next question says, do you think you'll stay in Wyoming much longer or move to Tennessee like you mentioned in a long ago video? So yeah, our plan is to move back to Tennessee sometime this year. I like being close to my family here in Wyoming, but both of us do not enjoy the weather. It is cold and windy and dreary for most of the year. So we're both really outdoorsy people. We love hiking and camping and kayaking and all that fun stuff. And here in Wyoming, you really only get like 3 months of the year to do that type of stuff. We don't really have any winter hobbies or outside activities that we like to do. So when it's cold and snowy and windy and muddy, there's just not much that we are able to get out and do here. So we really want to move back to Tennessee where it's warm. The winters are a lot more mild, stuff like that. So we are planning to move this year at some point. We don't have a full plan yet. Obviously we'll have to sell our house and do all that crazy stuff. But the plan is sometime this year for sure. And then the next question, when you move to Tennessee, do you think the wildlife there will change the patterns that you design? So if you know the patterns that I have designed, most of them are wildlife from this area where I'm from in Wyoming. We have the horned lizard, the bighorn sheep, the antelope that I just came out with. What else? The beaver. I actually designed a pelican, which we do have pelicans here, but I forgot to mention when I did my internship in Miami, Florida, I worked at a pelican rescue specifically. So worked with a lot of pelicans, and pelicans are actually my favorite animal. So that's why I designed that pattern. That one has not been super popular for me. I think it's a little bit too much sewing for people or something, but yeah, pelicans are my favorite animal, believe it or not. So as far as it changing the patterns I design, I don't know that it will change it drastically. I'll probably just kind of stick with the wildlife theme, and we'll just kind of see how it goes. I can't think of anything specific in Tennessee that I really want to design or anything like that, but a lot of the animals here in Wyoming are similar to the animals in Tennessee. So I think my pattern designing will stick with wildlife for the most part, but I'm not sure it will change too much, but we'll just see how it goes. Okay, the next question. What are your favorite crochet YouTubers to watch? So I watch quite a few. Most of the stuff I watch on YouTube is crochet content. So I will list a bunch of them and I will try to tag them all down in the description so you can go check them out as well. And I have a terrible memory for names. So if I forget anybody, I'm so sorry, but I will do my best. I wrote some down over here. So the number one crocheter that I watch on YouTube is Passionate Kelsey. And if you watch her, she's not always crocheting. She does a lot of knitting as well. And she also has started incorporating some sewing. But I literally watch every single one of her videos. She is so easy to watch, easy to listen to, great background noise while I'm crocheting. So a huge fan of hers. I think she's actually the one that kind of prompted me to start a YouTube because she makes it look so easy. So definitely go check her out if you don't already follow her. And then we have Stacy Makes, Jenny from In My Spare Time Crochet, April from The Cozy Buckeye, Robin from Knotting Hook Crochet, Cottontail Crafts by Heather, Christine from What's Up Cupcake, Carrie from Traveling Pony Studios, and several more. So I will link a bunch down in the description for you guys to go check out, but those are the main ones that I watch pretty much every video that they come out with. Okay, and then the next one is a good one. How do you organize your patterns? So when I first started out, I definitely printed them all off. I haven't done that for quite a while just because I didn't know how to store it was starting to build up into quite a stack. So that was like years and years ago before I started my business. I printed them off. But now I do all of my crocheting sitting here at my desk in front of my computer. So I have all of my patterns saved on my computer and I just pull them up on my desktop. I do have, so I have like a folder on my computer, and then I also have a folder in my Google Drive where I have put all of the patterns as well, so they're like backed up that way. And that way I can access them from anywhere from my phone because they're in that Google Drive. And then I tried buying a tablet to be able to move around my house and use a bigger thing, but I bought a really cheap tablet and it is absolutely terrible. It crashes, it won't open things, it just is absolutely terrible. So if you do buy a tablet, I recommend spending the money to get a decent one. Don't go the cheap route because that does not work at all. And then I also have a laptop, so the Google Drive comes in handy with that as well because it's synced across all my devices, so I can take my laptop out in the living room and open up a pattern the same as I would on my computer. So that way they're all backed up and I can access them from anywhere. I know trying to read them on a phone is really hard because it's so small. So like I said, typically I have them here on my computer or on my laptop. So that is how I deal with my patterns. And I actually don't have as many patterns as you would think, but I do have them grouped into, if I have like a bunch of one designer, I'll have a folder for that designer, and then the rest of them I just have in alphabetical order in one big folder. So that's how I do that. Okay, so the next question is, what are you most looking forward to in 2026? So I already touched on part of this already, not what I was looking forward to, but just something that's happening in 2026. So the fact that we're moving to Tennessee, I'm really excited about that. I have friends in Tennessee that I'm excited to be closer to. I'm excited about getting a new house and all that stuff and all the possibilities. So really excited about that. And then I also have some secret things happening with my business, Crafty Kate, that should be happening late spring, early summer. So I'm really, really excited about that. Obviously, I can't tell you more at the moment, but super excited for that as well. So stay tuned for some big news, hopefully coming in the next month or so. Okay, and then the next question is kind of a 3-part one. So the first part is your favorite pattern. So I went kind of back and forth on this. It's really hard for me to pick favorites. Obviously, if you have watched any of my videos, I have sold tons and tons and tons of the Diddy Dex Snuggler Dragon. So I have that pattern super memorized. I have modded it quite a bit to be something that I like making. So I crochet the legs in and I've changed the horns to make them easier, stuff like that. So at this point, it's sort of my own pattern kind of stemmed from Diddy Dex, but that's one of my favorites just because I have it memorized and it's just kind of a no-brainer, easy make for me. But as far as my favorite fun pattern to make, as far as the outcome and loving how cute it is, stuff like that, I would definitely say the Sploot series from Snuggle Beans Crochet. I have not made them all yet, but I have not yet made one that I did not absolutely love. So I would say those are definitely my favorite, which takes me to the next part of this question, which is your favorite designer. And I would say that would be Snuggle Beans Crochet, the designer of the Sploot series. Absolutely love her patterns. Another one that I've really started liking recently is Mom's Stitch Eddy. I've been making more of her patterns and really loving them. So those would be two of my favorite designers at the moment. Obviously, I've made tons and tons of patterns over the years and can't come up with like the older ones that I've loved, but those would be two of my favorites right now. And then the last part of the question is your favorite pattern that you've designed. So one of my own patterns. So like I said, my favorite animal is the pelican. So I was very proud of my pelican pattern. That one was kind of a flop, and I understand it being kind of an off the wall animal. But so that one I really had a lot of fun making. And then my other favorite one is my little horned lizard. I love the way that one turned out and how it's made up and how you only have to sew the head to the body and how I made it kind of low sew with the way I do the tail and the feet and the way the little spikes are on the back. I just am really proud of that one as well. So that one would be my other favorite pattern that I've designed. Okay, and that is the end of our questions list. So that will bring us to the end of this video. If you thought of any other questions, I can do another one of these at some point, or maybe do a live and answer some more questions. So if you have more questions, put them down in the comments and I will add those to a list for a future video. For an emoji down in the comments for making it all the way to the end of the video. Let's do a little frog in honor of Reggie, and I will give you guys updates once I get him in my truck and he is going on adventures. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!